Hello and welcome. I'm not actually going to do that today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of a follow-up review, or not review, but information on the Albion Mercenary sword that I did a review on some time ago. And that's because a few important things have come up. I don't know about really important, but notable things have come up that are worth mentioning in a follow-up video. So first off, after I made the video, a few people mentioned, hey, send the sword back to Albion and they'll be able to do some pretty cool stuff and shine it up and make it pretty and sharp for you again. And I didn't necessarily think about that, frankly. So I did. I contacted Albion, and the thing I'd like to note is that I was pretty forthcoming with information. Like, I bought it secondhand, I did this here review, that type of thing. And their customer support, frankly, was awesome. So yeah, they'll sharpen it up and clean it up for like 25 bucks plus the cost of shipping, which is not something I'm really used to. Now, if you've seen some of the other videos on my channel, I do a lot of stuff with Japanese style swords, and it seems like, I don't know, it costs like $100 to have somebody spit on it. It's not cheap to do polishing or mounting or any type of thing. So $25 to clean it and sharpen it or whatever is pretty crazy, especially considering that I didn't buy it from Albion directly, right? I bought it as a secondhand person, and so legally they're not really required to do anything for me. And ethically, I mean, I didn't do business with them. I bought it from someplace else. I know some of you will say, like, hey, a vendor should stand behind their product and blah, blah, yada, 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 and some vendors do. The best of them do, and I guess that goes to show that Albion is one of them. They said, hey, we don't really care who you bought it from. It's one of our pieces, and this is what it cost to polish her up. So that was awesome. I want to say 2 thumbs up to Albion's customer support and how they support their customers. That was tits. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was the Cersei or Cressy that I mentioned in the review. And basically, well, it's first of all, Cressy, Cersei. It's not the point I'm really trying to make with this, but it's worth also noting it's supposed to be called Cressy, I think, even though a lot of people call it Cersei. One of the guys at Albion said it's Cressy, and I'm guessing since he makes them for a living and works for the company, he probably knows what it's supposed to be called more than me. Anyway, moving on. The point is that the thing I didn't like about the Cressy was that it had some waves along the planes of the blade. Now, the planes of the blade, what I'm talking about are these kind of flat areas here. I want them to be like a smooth plane of glass if I look at them in the light. Thusly, I want these planes to be very flat and not have ripples in them. And the Cressy did, especially in the fuller section. Additionally, the fullers were terminated in slightly different areas. And those were things that maybe were okay, but I didn't think lived up to the quality that Albion is so well known for. Well, what I found out was that the Cressy that I had was one of the original iterations of that blade, probably one of the first ones that they did. And like anything else, if somebody is making them with their hand and hand grinding them and doing a lot of the work, old-fashioned style, they're going to get better over time. As their experience grows and they do more of them, they're going to get better. Well, that kind of explains some of the quality differences that I see from the Cressy, one of the original iterations, to several years later and this particular sword that I have now. Again, not knowing exactly when it was made, I can't speak to how far apart, but the Cressy that I got isn't necessarily representative of what you're going to get from Albion today if you order a sword. And that point was really made to me when I got to go see a booth that they were chilling at in Madison, Wisconsin at GameholeCon. I went to go see Albion at the gaming convention, and they had a booth there, and I got to manhandle the swords. Here, I'll show you a quick video of the stuff I was fortunate enough to see. I'll start by saying that every one of the swords in this video, I actually got to pick up and handle. I got to look at them in the light. I got to look at the planes. All of them were much smoother than the Cressy that I had originally, showing marked improvement over time. All of them had the quality fittings and the quality fit, feel, finish that you would expect from Albion and that people, rave about. All of them demonstrated that. So I have nothing but praise to give them in that regard. There were a lot of great swords for me to see, and all of them impressed me. What really impressed me, actually, were the Great Dane and the Claymore. They look like they're going to be like really heavy and just beastly to handle, and they weren't. They were very comfortable. The Conan swords were ungodly heavy to hold, but they're also meant to be that way and intentionally designed that way. Schwarzenegger was a big dude. He got a big sword to swing around. So to wrap it up here, I'll reiterate a couple points. One, Albion seems to stand behind their product. It doesn't cost a lot of money to get your shit cleaned up, and their customer service is awesome. So cool beans on that. Second, the Cersei is called a Cressy and not a Cersei unless you like Cressy more than Cersei or Cersei more than Cressy. I don't know, maybe Game of Thrones is like a thing where you call it Cersei, but Cersei's kind of a beast, so maybe you like Cressy. That's not really the point. Call it what you want. The Cersei or Cressy that I had originally had some ailments. The newer iterations probably don't. None of the swords that I saw at the show had any of the same Ripley lines or terminated fullers in different spots. All of them were spot on, just exactly the way you would hope for. And I think that that's awesome. A company evolves over time, and the quality improvements and quality control that they've been able to instate in their manufacturing process is pretty awesome. And to get to hold all of those swords and have them feel as awesome as they did was a real pleasure for me, and shows some craftsmanship when even a dumb guy that only likes katanas can hold a European sword and go, ooh, that's really cool. That's all I really have for you. Hopefully this supplemental video has provided some insight or additional information that you find useful or relevant. If you have any other questions about the Mercenary that I've got, let me know. Happy to answer them. Cheers and thanks for watching.